Remember the strike in the manufacturing sector that lasted 4 weeks in July? Well, there are still parties that are very unhappy with the agreement, and the fight goes on. In terms of the 3-year wage agreements, workers would get increases of between 8 and 10% in the first year and up to 10% in the second and third years. Now, that was signed by the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of South Africa, or Seifsa, which represents the large factories. But another employer body, the National Employers Association of South Africa, NEASA, representing smaller manufacturers, says it was not party to that deal. It announced then that it would lock out those who participated in the strike. Now it's lodged an urgent application in the Labour Court to stop the extension of the wage agreement to its members, and it received that urgent application today. The CEO of NEASA, Gerhard Papenfus, joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Gerhard. Can we just look back at the history? So in July, you don't like the agreement. There were warnings of a lockout. Are there manufacturers who have actually continued to lock out striking workers?
Yes, it is continuing.
So it's been months now that not much production has been happening.
Well, no. The production is happening. I think in some cases production has actually increased. Troublemakers are locked out. So, you know, we didn't expect that this would last so long, but they don't give us a reason to stop it. From the outset, we said, here's an agreement which do not suit us. But you know, collective bargaining is quite a strange animal. What's happening here is that a deal is done, and if it's their deal and they can live with it, it's fine with us. The problem is, they are attempting to extend that agreement to us. That's the fight.
Well, isn't there an overall principle in our law which says that these bargaining agreements can be extended because you've got workers in smaller companies, say, who can't really organize and go on strike. So they're at a disadvantage. So I think there's something positive behind that.
Yeah.
Do you believe you're right to resist that extension across the industry?
Well, if you comply with the law in doing the extension, that's one thing. They do not have the numbers to extend it. What is happening here, the Labour Relations Act gives huge recognition to big employers and no recognition to small employers. Seifsa, who signed the deal, represent 15% of employers in South Africa, in the metal industry.
So numbers-wise, aren't we talking about a bigger group?
In terms of employee-wise,
yes.
Yeah, bigger group. But you know what, these deals have broken this industry. The metal industry has lost 250,000 jobs in the last 5 years, 700,000 jobs in the previous 30 years. We are now back on, in terms of employment levels, to where we were in 1972. In the meantime, the South African population has increased with 30 million. So we cannot afford the deal. This industry is going down the tubes.
Shouldn't the Labour Minister, I think it's finally rests with the Labour Minister,
no,
shouldn't that Minister make the decision?
Well, we cannot rely on the Minister to make that call. What's happened today in court, the MEIBC has decided...
This is the bargaining council.
Bargaining council, to request the Minister to extend. We said to them, you can't even ask the Minister. You are so low in terms of representativity that you can't even ask the Minister. And in fact, we told him...
It's very confusing, because are they aligned with Seifsa?
Seifsa is just a party on the council.
Okay.
Actually, Seifsa is not a party of the council. Some of the organizations federated to them are party to the council.
Okay.
We're on the council as well. We're a party to the council. In fact, we're the biggest party in the council, by far.
So this is big manufacturers trying to force small manufacturers to pay a higher wage. Why would they do that?
Well, in the negotiations, they want stability. Now, the kind of stability that they want kills small business. A big employer said to me during the negotiations, he doesn't care what the numbers are in terms of the increase. He will make up that money in 3 hours. That was his words. It perhaps didn't mean 3 hours, but that was his word. That illustrates there are price givers and price receivers in the industry. There are guys that can manipulate price. The main steel producers can accommodate the price increase of labor into the price of steel and give it through to the smaller guys. So the big guy doesn't pay at all for the increase. The smaller guys price twice. Now, how can you make a deal in Johannesburg, the hub of the economy, a company employing 15,000 people, making a deal with trade unions, and then enforce the same deal on a little guy sitting in the Northern Cape? Makes no sense. That's the fight. Now, if we kill small business, there will not be jobs created in South Africa, and this is what's happened in this industry.
Are you going to take the fight further? Do you just want to protect your members, or is this a fundamental challenge to the way we extend these bargaining agreements across
This is a fundamental challenge. This fight is happening in this council, but it is a fundamental challenge. So what happened today, we said to the court, we cannot allow the MEIBC to make that request to the minister because they are attempting to mislead the minister. We know it. And
can't you just represent yourself to the minister?
Well, the minister doesn't listen. The minister, unfortunately, doesn't listen. There's a deal done before this where the officials of the Department of Labour has told us, once they get the application, they will extend.
All right.
We said to the court, you cannot trust them, and we have proof that they do not have the required levels of representativity. So what the court did today is agree with us and said until the court has looked at the whole application and find that to be above board, only then can they ask the minister.
All right, well, we'll follow that, and I'd love to chat to the Ministry of Labour as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
That was the CEO of NEASA, Gerhard Papenfus. And that brings us to the end of